Good afternoon here. Glenda White again with Verity Mortgage, the Mortgage Coach DFW. This is the Epic Podcast where we're talking about extraordinary practices with innovating concepts. And I've got Coach D on today. And Coach D and I, Michele, we went back to college. We're old school cheerleaders, and the mentality of, I think, a cheerleader, the teamwork, the stability, the hardship that we had to go through in college cheer has kind of changed the trajectory of what we're doing today. So Michele, welcome today to our new podcast. How are you doing?
Good. Thank you so much, Glenda, for having me.
Yeah, well, like I said, we met back in collegiate cheer, just kind of had stayed together. That's the power of social media and branding. And I'm not even going to talk about me because I'm so intrigued about what we just talked about offline. I want to go into who is Coach D and how can we help serve women entrepreneurs. So tell us a little bit about you, Michele, today, and let's just get going.
Great. So thanks, Glenda. My name is Michele Meza, otherwise known as Coach Michele D. The name came from being a cheer coach. It started out as a joke, and now I have a brand. That's what my clients call me. That's what everyone calls me. I am the CEO of Luksi Coaching and Consulting, and so I am a certified mindset coach. I help you overcome self-sabotaging behaviors, roadblocks, mental blocks, anything that's preventing you from living life to the fullest and being a success. I'm also a branding and marketing strategist. So I help you go from a concept on a napkin, or let's say a stagnant business, into a six-figure brand. So that's what I focus on. I specialize in storytelling, marketing techniques, content creation, and curation. So I help you live out your brand and get you in front of your target audience.
My God, you're my people, because I talk about this all day, every day until I'm blue in the face to our real estate agents of why branding matters so much. And your branding is not your brokerage, right? So tell us a little bit on that side before we have good stuff coming of why branding you think matters more today than it ever has in any industry that you're in.
That's a good topic to discuss because it's not being talked about, and people don't really understand what is a brand. Why do the colors matter? Why can't I just post random things? Why does it have to be a specific type of content? And let me tell you why. So what's important to this is how you connect to your audience, your listeners, the people who are undecided, who are on the fence, who may not know what you're about. A business needs a personality. It needs a face behind the business. And so the importance of branding is really to connect you with your audience. Your audience, those big brands, Target, Walmart, Amazon, they didn't just come up overnight. They're constantly in your face, telling a story and posting relatable content. And so in the real estate industry, I've been in real estate, for almost 10 years now, behind the scenes, not on the sales side, but I've grown a network of people, a team, referral network. And so it not only matters to clients or potential prospects, but it also matters to mortgage brokers or lenders, or, once they constantly see what you're about and what you specifically do. Let's say, you help first-time home buyers.
Mm-hmm.
And so that lender may come across your content online, and they're like, okay, I think this person is in my area or in my state. So I need to reach out to her or him. Yeah. I need to get in contact and be a referral partner for them. So in real estate, that's really why it matters. And on the client's end, I was a first-time home buyer, right? So are you. It's almost like an interviewing process. So it's a two-way street. So the realtors, they want to make sure that it's a good fit, but also as a client, I want to make sure that that realtor understands my needs and what I'm looking for and my story. And that's really, it's about connection. People are designed to connect. And so, in in the past, we didn't have social media, we didn't have technology. And so we would do it face to face, we'd go to mixers, we still have those things, but the majority of it, a lot of people are just busy and they're on social media. The average is 11 hours a day. So if you think about it, your target
Wait,
market is,
what? 11 hours a
yeah,
day? That is
11
insane.
hours.
Oh my
I
gosh.
know you don't really think that, right? I know. Yeah. So if they're somewhere, if they're at a coffee shop for 11 hours a day, you want to be in that coffee shop.
Right.
And so when I have discussions with my clients or prospects, those are the things that I talk about, because people, when you put it in that perspective, they're like, oh yeah, I would want to be at that coffee shop all day. I need to have something set up, or I need something to make sure that they understand what I do. And so that's the brilliance of content marketing, right? That's the brilliance of telling a story, posting consistent, relatable content, because it takes an average person at least 7 times to see the same thing in order to make a decision. And sometimes more than that, but the average is about 7 times.
And that's so amazing. And we talk about the bigger and the greater good, but this is in any market that you're in, any business plateau, right? It doesn't really have to go for real estate and lending and business matters. And I think today the struggle is, how do you share your story on that? How, if in the real estate industry, in a noisy society, because everybody's doing it, right? Like I hear that every single day, that everybody's doing it, coming from a certified instructor like yourself. So when we talk about the limiting beliefs and the one thing and the brand that you become and the 7 times that you have to 7x that, why do you think that really would matter, right? Because everybody is on social media, right? When I talk to my agents and my clients, every agent is on social media. And your certified opinion, because this is what you do all day long, there's really not a lot of people on social media, right, that are pushing the brand, local market advisors, right? Would you agree to that?
Yes, I completely agree with that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
What's the one hurdle that you think that the person would have to become the brand online?
The biggest hurdle that I see with my clients is thinking that, oh, I'm not in front of the right audience. That's the first one, which, I mean, that's when I drill down and really do some research, teach them how to do some research. But also it's the limiting belief. So it's like, oh, well, they didn't reach out to me. They didn't respond right away, or they might have saved my post, but they didn't like it or they didn't share it. So it's really learning how to engage with your audience. So if you think about it, it's almost like small talk. So you're one-on-one like we are, and we're having a discussion. You almost want to, you have to picture that in your mind and reframe and shift your mindset a little bit from going, okay, well, they're just not listening, to, you know what, maybe they're on a conference call and they're multitasking, or there's kids screaming in the background, because a lot of people are still working from home. About 65% of people are still
Wow.
working from home. So we've got all these distractions, and that's why it takes an average, of those that many times for people to relate to something. So
Okay.
I incorporate the storytelling piece because you want to understand those people's pain points. It's one thing, you got to do a mix of your content. You have to educate. You have to tell them about the industry that, whatever their pain points. Let's say it's a web design business, it's a tech business, and they do good with SEO. That's their specialty. But on social media, it's a different story, and they
Right.
just can't grow their audience or their business. And so they need to educate people the importance of SEO or whatever you specialize in. That's what you talk about. But you want to mix it up. You want to give it personality. So,
Okay.
for example, I have certain days. So on Mondays, I only talk about mindset. I post inspirational quotes, reels. I stick to that because me as a certified mindset coach, I have to get people, I have to remind them that, hey, it's a new week, new day.
Right.
Let's take off, let's shrug off the old last week, whatever you dealt with last week, it's done. It's in the past.
Yeah.
Today's a new week, new focus. And so that's why I'm very particular about what I post on Mondays.
Yeah.
It's just to get people in that mindset, because I find that people, it takes them, and then they expect it. So that's why consistency is so important, because they know if they're having a bad day or if they're needing some inspiration, they know that Coach Michele D is going to post something about mindset.
Yeah.
And so now you find people searching your company or your handle or whatever it is, and then they're saving it, they're sharing it, or hey, maybe they're not struggling, but maybe their coworker is, or their friend. And so they're like, you know what, I'm going to tag them in this post, or I'm going to share it.
Yeah.
And just have a personality, be yourself. Don't try to, original is always best. You have to figure out what works for you, because that's what we want to see. We want to see real and relatable content. So it's like your personality in a book.
And that's what's crazy, because you just brought up a good point. There's so many social media, companies out there that we see, and it's crazy. Like when you start scrolling your feed, it's like this person's playing the same, paying the same company for that one. And then the feed kind of gets noisy because real estate agents, lenders, whoever in the industry, like they're using the social media, but it's not you, right? It's not who you serve. And I think the bigger thing is in 2023, clients and projected, business partner, referral partners, they see that, right? In this noisy environment, they know who's actually posting than who's paying someone to post the standard post that if you use a hashtag, and I did it this morning just for fun, I copied in a hashtag from a group. And when you click on it, when you click on the hashtag, every single post was 100% the same, right? This is why we have to niche it down. This is why we have to be yourself. And, I know you're going to confirm this, but you don't have to dance on any platform just to do that, right? Like, yes, it's fun to dance. That's my personality. Everybody knows that I'm going to dance with probably a glass of wine, but you don't have to do that, right? Like you're here for an educational content and to getting to know the know, like, and trust factor, right?
Absolutely. Yes. They want to confirm that what they see online is the same person as who they're in front of. And
so
that's
how do
critical.
we,
So yeah.
yeah. So let me ask you, how do we capture that limiting belief of who we are, and how do we overcome that in 2023 and beyond?
So you really have, you need to start being honest with yourself, right? So who am I and what do I do? Who do I serve? So that one statement, that one sentence needs to be in your bio: who I am, what I do, and who I help, who I serve. And so once you answer those three questions, you're able to build off of that. And that's exactly what I did. And that's what I teach other business owners, entrepreneurs, aspiring entrepreneurs. Majority of the people I help are startups. They don't even know where to start. Real estate market, I have realtors, I have lenders who reach out to me, and I also do social media management. And it's funny that you talked about hashtags, because hashtags are so important. And that's absolutely right, because people actually do click on those hashtags.
They do.
And if you see yourself in a nutshell, you do it by hashtags, right? So, the algorithms are crazy and they're ever changing, but what stays the same is that specific hashtag in your niche, your market. It's related to you. It all comes back to you. So those limiting beliefs of, or maybe you're struggling with confidence, right? Self-esteem, affirmations. I start with affirmations with my clients because, and that's just some of the groundwork, foundation work I do. I utilize a couple other techniques. Obviously we don't have enough time in the day to talk about that.
Right.
But that's where someone can start. That's the starting point, because it's how you speak to yourself is how you will behave. So your actions are tied to your thoughts. So if you change your thought, you reroute it, then you can be who you're meant to be. And that's the beauty of this whole thing, and the ability to reach people you would never reach locally, right? So your digital footprint is huge, because this is your opportunity and your time to shine.
And that's absolutely amazing. And my gosh, like even in the little time, like you are hitting so many gold nuggets on here. So this is the one episode I would say save it, replay it, forward it to whoever, because it is, I think, and I am 100% my passion on there is I feel that's the number one thing that anybody struggles with today on social media. How to overcome the non-like trust factor, right? Like for me, people ask, Linda, where'd you come up with it? Well, for me, it was COVID. I ripped the band-aid off. And I felt the need, if you can't get in front of an agent or a client to do this home buyer seminar, then why are we not taking what's in our head and just construing it as much as we can to be that one that when you open up your phone, it's like Glenda's there again. But I feel like if you don't like it, swipe it. And if you do like it, like save it and share it, right? And that's what you've done, and absolutely amazing. So tell me, you got in the consulting business in 2010, is that right?
And say, yeah, I started consulting privately in 2010, and that just grew over time.
Yeah. So why do you think your passion grew into the consulting? What made you kind of take that hurdle on that side?
During COVID, that actually allowed me time to really think about what I loved and what I was just doing because of my knowledge, my expertise. And so I really had to look at I had to assess my skills. And then I had to figure out, okay, time is so short, it's so valuable, and we don't have that much time. And I was thinking, how could I make the biggest impact on people and still operate in my gift, still have the ability to utilize my expertise, something that I've worked all my life on. And so that's kind of how it evolved. And then, I majored in marketing. So marketing naturally comes easy for me. It doesn't to a lot of people. And so that's like, okay, I can make it easier for people to be found online. And so in addition to that, just, I have a book coming out. It launches in retailers tomorrow. And so
Yes.
I was so excited. Yes, I share my story. I share my testimony. And so with that journey of healing my mindset, I'm thinking, man, I started realizing, on the other side of healing, things look different. Just you have a different outlook, you have a different thought process. And so I realized, like, man, 95% of people struggle with their thought process, their minds. It's like a broken record that it just keeps replaying over and over again. And I just think about all the years that it has prevented me from moving forward and doing what I love to do. And I picked up a couple certifications in mindset coaching. I'm like, I want to help people. And so that's how that evolved. And so last year I went full time with my business, and it just took off from there. I just focused on what I'm great at for consulting, branding, and marketing. I incorporated what I've always done, which is telling stories, just kind of like a play. If you think about the plot building, and you want a resolution in the end. And so that's how I look at marketing. Marketing should be fun.
Yeah. And I think that's something that's overlooked because people think marketing's challenging because it doesn't come easy to a lot of people. Tech savvy does not come to a lot of people. But here's the crazy thought behind it. My major is not in marketing. I just picked it up, right? My background is finance, it's accounting, there was a couple business classes, but marketing was the furthest from anything going to college that I would have ever thought I would do. It was finance and accounting. So share a little bit with our listeners on your book that's dropping.
Yes, I'm so excited. So Shattering the Stigma of Single Motherhood drops tomorrow on local retailers, Barnes and Noble near you, Target, Walmart, Books A Million, and Amazon. And so it is a collection of 12 stories of amazing women. We all share something in common, which is being a single mother and overcoming the challenges of single motherhood. And so we shut down the hearsay, the thought processes, the beliefs, the myths, all that stuff about single motherhood. But we wanted to open it up and present it in a way that reaches everyone. It's not only for single moms. I mean, that is our primary audience. However, the ebook's been out for a couple weeks, or actually a month, and grandmas who have never been single moms. But what that did is that inspired our stories and how we overcome things. inspired them to help others or to be better people or just to give grace where grace is due in some instances. And so, our goal is to inspire and encourage the broken and also to build a better community of women, of people. With life, it just seems like it's so weird. Like people, when something bad is happening to someone publicly, they would rather get out a phone and record it instead of actually go to them and help them. So we wanted to highlight, that single mothers can be a success, that we can heal from, whatever situation that we ended up in. But it's really a good resource and tool. We provide tons of resources in there for people. So it's definitely a book that won't stay on the shelf. It's a practical book that you can take, highlight, share, discuss in book clubs or mixers or network, conferences, different things like that. So I'm so excited to be a part of this project.
I am so proud of you. Just hearing all of that. And I think that goes into every day-to-day atmosphere, right? Because I grew up in a broken home, single family home. Yes, I've been married for 20 years, but growing up, I think that's what made kind of the mentality of who I am today. And I think the longer the journey is, the more we stand behind each other, no matter what industry you're in, the more we become a better version of ourselves. And I absolutely cannot wait to read this book. Share the book, strive for the book, use the book in all atmosphere. But Michele, my God, I can honestly tell you, wholeheartedly well-rounded. I am so proud of you. And to know that you're not the only one out there, right? Your struggles, the struggles that I had growing up with a single family in a broken home, it's just about touching the one person at a time and becoming of who we are each and every day and getting better. So let me ask you, if anybody wants to get a hold of you, because this is going to drop in middle of January, so the book's already going to be out. Barnes & Noble's, Amazon, go get it. If someone wants to connect with you, Coach D, how do they find you and what's the best platform for them?
The easiest is Instagram. You could also go to my website. It's Luksi Consulting. That's LUKSI consulting.com. My Instagram handle is Coach Michele with 1L D or Luksi Consulting. So either way, I'll reach out to you. So yeah, those are probably the easiest, the quickest ways to reach me.
That's amazing. So I always like to ask, what's the one thing today that if a person listens to this, that they can start today to make a better tomorrow?
The one thing you can do today is be kind to yourself. Remove those thoughts of nobody liking you. You need to have the attitude of gratitude. You know what? Who can I touch today? Who can I impact today? Because when you ask yourself that one question, you get up in the morning as you're getting ready, you're speaking kindly to yourself, and then you say, whose life can I make better today? It completely reroutes the rest of your day and your week.
It does. It's the attitude of gratitude, and 100%. And you should start today. And that's what we tell everybody here on the Epic Podcast. And anything that we do, it's all about being epic, because we are extraordinary, right? It takes a mindset. I've been told this all my life. Like, it takes a mindset to live a positive outlook and the optimism that surrounds that. So if you need to surround yourself by positivity, you guys need to go find Coach Michele D, because it is 100% everything that I aspire to be. I look up to you. I am so proud of you. And it becomes the foundation of who you become. And it could be a friend or an acquaintance from 20 years ago when we had collegiate cheer together. Who knows? That person may be in front of you and you may just not know it. So for everybody, take your one step, go find your Coach Michele D, surround yourself. And until next time, go be epic and go be amazing.